About the terrorist attack so ewo Burkina Faso etu ye nuanom ma bia sebe yen kan wie ye mpono anopai ensem fofra eba ne chese another attack akoso ewo Ghana hanom say ya eno de na fishermen ye papa nom ne nuanom mema wo mo ekoposo no na afei de ya enipa bonifo bi edi tuo ene ade ato ahye wo mo so achese busia na asem na ni anyan pa eni ehu eni soso na asemwe esiye ewo ewutu senya breku ewo ewutu senya west constituency emu na entiye ba ne echemu se alatafo na allegedly no wo mo eto ehesa fishermen ni anase papa num ni nuanom a wo mo eko epono Nigeria for na eto ehye won so essence according to reports eba no na chesem amanfo ekogina wo mo so a na wo mo kura etuo ni ade edija wo mo so wo epono so I mean in the midst of the sea wo mo fish no wo mo kotu se wo mo so no language anase kasa na wo mo kasa ni nyina koye Nigerian pidgin na Nigerian pidgin na ye share amaye we bibiman mu ha the people are sebe wo mo etai eka pidgin language no nuanom Nigeria for now on your screen so sisenya break with 38 fishermen rescued after robbery at sea enti na chese ucha ensem we koso no na enyensem keto and also there is a report and say an onipa ba ko na onu nso fishermen ya rescue wo mo no na woka ho bie na waba betu nenum tu akyekire mu ama ya te ase de nti ye kase ya latafo yi na edi ekodi se dwumedi we na say ekodi sa nyamra nsem we and the fact that these Nigerians say ye bomb din say they are doing too much no ehu ye papa ye beko na ye kwakotie witness report about the nsem ni see ya wo mususu say enipa eto say wo muso no de etu obegineja wo muso wo pono so no Nigeria for ye ntie no emra
yaba na imbiri yakono yedu aramo epia ba 2 yedu find the pono do be 7 o'clock the 7:30 no kofuna ede oba to share do to oba to share do na o se yin machine ede yen fa mom na ye gbogbo tun wo yin machine am na wan fa mom a oba chitun na oroka obrofo blocking English ni bi ena mi yi anu de mma so yen de onyi if machine on for mom na on ko for mko nti oyi machine mo no oda on na shama kro so ede wa ba enche oba enche ju no so ede wo ko no do kwaji on so ode enye na yesen ho but nyankopo adum eba nsa no yenya chichire ofi ye vene nyankopo wo ya bompa ede want me etona vede wan fa mbo bia ano na ya de nyankopo ase de ya befi asundwum denom kita AK47 4 but otwin na de odisi onkofo phone no odisi do na mama say de okutu machine odumam no mokwe ba sa no but na ye nyina de yakumotu de okada obekun ye peyin ye nyina yakumotu ba de yakupo ase de one for utu anka obi anya de na ya ba ye nyina ye ma yon arechichi de enya hwe nipa na de nipa na oto machine ndi so waja yamfa mo no mo nkoya de ya bobo bosia na de na ya tobi na de aye djuma omo ka de se ebotum wontu machine ntamo a ombo shitun and no omo pom ye nyina kwache nyama na kan ho ani ina yesuro ya abofo kru no mo gina ye ina adene aba no ye ina ye won so ye ntuma ye hwe obi ntuma nkasa ode ye din ye ina ye gina na de no mo fa machine de omo de koye no mi sid wo won ba sa so review ntuma da say me san edwuma ntumi nka da me ntumi nko ona na mekwa me ya da me ne hwe me
Abusia, that was a eyewitness, and I said we nipa or ye victim of the attacker a koso ene ewo ewutu senya ebrana ye nuanom mema wo mokọ poso no ekoko yi nam ne ade ba ma yenye bito edidi ye niema no nipa bonefo eto hye wo mo eso no na wo chemu se enipa na wo mo ede AK47 be ye 4 ejeja wo mo so no kasa na omo eka no broken English, which is pidgin. Na sa pidgin kasa no no de yete ana te se ehu se alatafo ya enetai eka pidgin no. Now Canoe and Gia Owners Association of Ghana and woman so de omunsem ababeto dwa muchema reported robbery at sea yesterday. 4 canoes have been confirmed as having been attacked. Outboard motors, generators, fuel, and mobile phones reportedly taken away by the robbers. 78 crew have been rescued and brought back to Senyabreku this afternoon. International womu echema canoe no a womo ede call meche nyama no a womo de call po no so no na ya bako enan emu nipa nso ewomu no so dosu ye pa a sebe nipa bonifo eto hye womo so no na womo agi womo phones eji generator moto ni ade a wo mo de sparke boat de yo mo niema ni nyina no na chese o mo phone so kra no wo mo san ejije ye edifre wo mo ensem na chese the attack na ekoso recently on Ghanaians no abusia eya ye hu pa enti eye Canoe and Association for and o mo so de o mama ne bo ba ye say so far so good. Most of them now have been rescued as I break them. Omunyina etimi abafie na wo shep abrante na no kasa kwati mu se near 2 powder near de gunu ho a more like a celebration of victory because enye nipa nyina na nya na sa uti abrante and narration na chese edru ba bi na de atom so on a sea ukoye den what are you going to take to save yourself na chese it just took the intervention of God and na chese ye hu se wo mo enya wo mo eti edidi mu e wa attack e course no eso now ye hwe se den nsem na I'm afraid say the security of Ghanaians now no is at stake. Say Ghana, I say a hobambon semono. It is flopping. Ye sheda engina baby ye. It's an say ene ni atwashe we so ochani atwashe we so and the fact that the NCC say no we to break what central region no. It is being linked to nuanom Nigerians no. Ebutia ya ha adwene kakra man for chem say this is a very devastating. Now, we shall comment session ni mo a bikojo. Say this shows that the government is weak. This will not happen in the MPP regime. Not to say amount for be no NHM say MPP are buying a pen so anka yentete sa ensem when no the Ghana Armed Forces woman so aba bonten the release aba woman so aba betchemu ensem no say they call ye and how they were able to rescue the fishermen nyame kwa anka sabre de yente asem de e Ghana because they call so bokine ebi mawu some are still in critical conditions awomoja yarehwe enti yenka enu nwie ya ye ba ne sen and another issue also pops up enti asem ne basa no we got the Ghana Armed Forces and NADMO awomo nso ye den ekogire mu say they had to do something to save yenuanom no on the sea. Now Ghana Armed Forces for nsem awomo edebetu dwa no enche ye bekwa kotie but then yenhwe video we mba ye ba ye beto aso. Abusia, that was a year the scenes after a year this fishermen were rescued from a year the attack so ewo epono eso and to think that omoba ye no timu say as scary as it was no timu say no mabusia for ewa ahonyehie mu so the joy of receiving them no and our mo eto powder edigu wo so edema wo mo akwaba eba I mean back to their homes because and some see you know na caught viral near there and people hearing about and some way say yakwa akoto ahye wo mo eso ewo eye posono. You would wonder how se webusuani eka ho a said the atenka ne besifa aye said the oyembe hyehye wasi afa se o papa se wokopo so aba ya ade bia wokoba ne ebe ha adwen. Now Ghana Armed Forces for press release wo mo edebaye no eneda screens no eso no or say issued by the Department of Public Relations General Headquarters Burma Camp Accra. Yaba say ha or say Ghana Armed Forces conduct search and rescue at sea. The Ghana Navy, supported by the Ghana Armed Force, have been conducting a search and rescue operation since dawn at sea, 35 nautical miles off the coast of Senya Breku in the central region. This follows an attack on some fishing vessels in the general area. The operation is ongoing and the armed forces appeals to all remain calm. To remain calm. Further details to be communicated. Enti ensemne kosono and Ghana Armed Forces for Edis and Krata way by no muchemu say they are working hand in hand with the Navy. Say omobetimi a rescue yenu anomo mema way, and fortunately no the rescue mission was able to push through omutimi eji womo enyina, and as they were rescued no omudru fie so na ehu say yabo ahye womo so a na yebo mo abaso. Now there've been a lot of reports coming from the grounds of how the incident happened. Said they see here how sabensem ni see na kopiemu ewo Breku a, because Breku is ewo yehwenia no central region, beginning of central region opaka so anwo kakra bi a Breku, you even get to Winneba na we do Breku. And so asem we esine na say how safe are we in this country? Now there've been several reports from the grounds of Utu Breku and Senya Breku on how the incident happened. And one thing you should know is Senya Breku is a fishing community. They are into fishing. A mema ne kof a poso fishing no na omo de ba a man so de bedroom ebeton. So Senya Utu Breku and Senya Breku they are so much into fishing. It's a fishing community. And tinacha say ejuma debia omo ye, but for the first time no they've been attacked on sea. Now yechemu say it happens to be people that were speaking broken English, so they can not say the first point of call ebeko nuanom alata for. So now there is a reporter enche ebeko akotie concerning how everything unfolded, and some way see you know say they sifa call ya ene you share nuanom screen so am say ye obi wa ye hu ne powder ma me say nani nkohwe kra ehu ade a enye ye. But before ye betie the report no on your screen, or say 59 fishermen feared abducted by pirates at sea returned home safely following intervention by the Ghana Armed Forces. Into that, just say ninyina mu no abasubode no eko ama the Ghana Armed Forces and the Navy together with NADMO womo and womo ka montema bo mu a I mean the rescue was able to hold yenuanom no etimi abafie. So on the screen you can see said the nipa abodompema womo ekohia womo na yenje bre abusuafo na yenkotie report on this issue yeba yebetoa ensem ne so ede amamu
na pe ya na enya ne ntie se aparefo bi akoka ewo efoso na omufi Senya Breku no ewutu Senya West. Enti mi de mika ekopie mu ewo ho na ye beduru no sister enya atenkuma amanfo super wona musu no enkwala omo awofo na akoka nsuo no so na afensi no wona omukunu ene ebusuafo na nyakwa ebisa wona mo bi no mu kire gu se enra enyime bo no nsia na wona omo Senya Breku wona omo ko epo no mu bako be se to omo de muani ekire temakwan so se omo ko epo. And so no ebi mu aba akaba ko enwotwe a omo mbaye omo wo no mu se baako aba na obaye no na nenim hancho ejese dede pa mu bedi yo nti wono omo wo nsuo nu so na omo ben esie kakra no na omo twimbe omo a omo de ayemsise echi omo ebe fie na omo bedu na omo twemu se Wona omuka omuhu na omodu koye no akonfo ada atake omu ekwan no so a omaje omuhu niama enyema be no omaje na ochire omuchire mu se nkrofo bi echi eye tu boto ebi a omu kita eye speed boat bi kese pa a edwane pa so yi na omu se omu beto a de omu first omu ye ni se omu stani etu ogu wiem pe mujina ho mu se muntu mu aso moto no embra Montu a yebebo mutuo ekumo no omotu na ye de ama omutu a na chese waka nsuo no so untumi enko wenim untumi nko emba wechi bebe amfama no bebo ebeko no oho na sema no edi neni betre saa na akoso saa ewo nsuo no so meni uka se omuture mu a sema baku 7 na aka nsuo no so ni nyina ne se akonfoyefo abeto ahyomo so ewo nsuo no so ema omo wia omo agbon moto na to be control efidie no kudo no omo tu edeko na afa nsuo no generator omo de sunlight ewo nsuo no so no eno so omo deko meni wo ka je die onunya for gizela agbetutete onu na emreche bedeni ewo ewutu senya west oni Kalala no ye MC owo ewutu senya west after not mo for omo ewutu senya any ewutu senya west ewutu senya east nyina aka bomu a omo nyina be pie mu wo ho omo hwe se nkofo no empedifo ta be ka omo e de aba na abra ntam na ye he sa no na afarfo na omo aka ewo fie ni yo maje se omo be tie sinsuo no so na omo akwaje omo nuanom de aba na ma Honorable Gizela Agbetisete ono MP wo ewutu senya west also here Western Housing Deputy Minister mu se asem no aban aso ase entino ode ache Navy for enter any Marine Police for instance omunko nsuo no so no mombo mode no momfa nkofo na aka wo nsuo no so no embra enti bi no ka se ide ye da so wa atwen mu a ye hwe nim se wona aban aso mo mo so omunkofa wono maka wo nsuo no so no embra no ye twen se omude mo beba na so mo bedu nsuo a ye wo mbia ye mfa nkame ye tiefo na mom wo be pie mu ewo senya breku ha se sisi a enye asemkuma na enye omunko a adehia ewo gomu afete omuso omukopo nti omo ti sa asemu no omo nyina efimpo na no aba senya ha omo hwe se omo nuanom na omo aka ewo ensuo no so to empedifo betumi de omo abedu fie
Afa ye bema mo ni adwuma ye nhwa de kodo baako efa nipa be sen
akudo ndi omo kire mu a omo kwa omo ncha dan do so bi wo omo fast nkofo se bi wo nkofo 8 ama fa na ajiri so na ye 10
tina say roughly say be enson na ye hu omo ntimi ma omo chi na se nipa omo nipa omo na
mo sa se wona omo tumi PAP nso dum na omo tumi nyamu ti ejiji mu omo dwane de ba ye ni kire mu a baby a nkrofo no beto omo wo no na e kese omo du nsuo ni fifi pa oho no nso no enye adia se agbon moto no enka ho a obetume pia bonti sa agbon moto no enka ho dia ene de kese baby a mfama no bebo de beko no oho na ede wo beko no temu so na mfama na no ye de pa ya enye asemkuma
na se nyame anfafi afiti nura anwumre no nsia bepem sabra ye ka sei mfama dodo abo anadwumu nyina yi yenim baabi mpo a wo mo nenam
Sapi pepe.
Enti Navy so epo asrafo no moko ne ade no. Eno anso omo de omo ne nam. Ti ye nse de hu direction omo ko.
Yes, omo kire mu a ebi efi tema a omo ehia wona omo fi senya ha se ede ko. Omo ma ebi nso fa kokro bite. E no mo nya odi omo ni akire mu a omo hwe se omo sabe ka omo ede omo abefi a.
Nipa dodo na omo fokodo na omo ye mpanyifo ana enkoda aka ho.
Omo ye mpanyifo enkola enka ho.
Penyifo mani efi omo kopo
sabe pepe
wow na yen hwe se agod moto ndi yetu anache se waka wutimi nya bibia ma ne nya yi
sabe pepe na wona omo tumi epie ebaye no kire mu se obebi na omo wo ansa na kono no ekoso no se yenya tu moto no free hu se kim waka untumi ba wechi untumi nko wenim bebi amfama no pe no oho no de wo beko
kakra o mutimi bai no mo se ere no mutimi dware ye
Maybe almost a hono a mua, and ya de obet major no about bonting, obedient to no, obebre, a bedu baby no, obebre, and the almost there are brand for 42 to stop, no, almost do more light, no, into normal, yeah, so normal choir, actually, as an almost saw light now, almost. Nya kwan enya omutididi mu
since abe navy 14 ya dispatch am dada omukọ
dada honorable gizala go tisa te kire mu a abe aseminity ya no no ote no enyime 8 pm efi enyime 8 pm no e na omo chaate omo man krofo no ko insonu sise omo chaate omo sa ebe ka omo a meni o ka se efi anapa oba hai onko ya oda so wa ha oni mpedifo e kasa se omo behwe na krofo no aba omo mba ya onko ye
nti ato no yenti report bia nso about yenuan ma o mayira no bepem sabre David. Wow. Our first time no emunya nika bomoden ne wadaroma fo ni di echema bibia ni a ye besan aba wonchen.
This report na echere how devastating said de na ensem no eni enyan esitie ewo eye ewutu breku na utimi say it wasn't an easy experience na sebe yetna kromo ema say ukwa adwuma kra ya insecured okwa adwuma akopedi oni na busuanfo bedi eko sebe pono na omo ankopo na anam ne kra benya bi wodwam and to think that they'll be they'll be attacked no very very critical na asem no amafo breche say the government must set up the Mahama led administration so omotena say because the Nigerian invasion no ya doso Ghana krodwe yi mu hanum say now ni nyina mu no yedikan akadada say the MP edema the constituency honorable Gisela Tete wokopie mu ewo the constituency bra atorenchem we esiye na wa okasa she spoke about what has happened because yatena kromo ha Breku has been a fishing community since yenti sa sabe anansem we yenti bida yenti sa this has never happened there before it is say we besi no na che say the security of Ghana no say aye weak we mu say ye hu say Ghana police for ya there but I say there is still room for improvement na ye be kwani akotie nsem a honorable Gisela Tete we de etu dwa ye ba ye beto aso
that there was an armed attack at sea. You know, our fishermen, they go out at night. They catch their fish early morning, dawn. Early morning when the tide rises, then they come back into the fishing bay. So some of them they all go as a group. Some of them have gone and have come. But some of them who went was the Nyanyano side, apparently. I think they were involved in that attack and they robbed them of their outboard motors and generator sets on the boats. They said it was a black boat, and well, I can't disclose the nationality of the people, but that's what they say. I'm sure further investigations will be done to find out what exactly happened. But the military, the IGP has also dispatched a military marine police also to accept. So the Navy is helping, and the marine police are also helping us. Assurance is that's why we are even here. Since last night, the community themselves will tell you that it's like the whole town came here, you know, just trying to get in. We're on the phone telling them, giving them the assurance of the arrangements we try to make. So I think in the next 2 hours, I'm hoping that we should bring them either going to Tema, if the Navy get them, or if the local get them, bring them back to shore. So we are here waiting to see what is going on. But I'm sure, God willing, in the next 2 hours, we should hear some good news. Yeah, so we know that we are in contact with them. But the point is that for them to come back, that's the important thing. Yes.
So we honorable Gisela Tete nensema wode etudwa no ene ekotie no so utie the narration coming from here kanun sa na wo mo esipo no so no na beye nso a wo mo ekopo and a blackboard be from nowhere with people yesusu say wo mo Nigeria for because as they attacked the language they were using no pidgin language wo mo use broken English and na wo mo attack wo mo blackboard no started to ni ade sebe na omudi ehunahuna mo omudi gigi omo phones name wo mo motors ne generators ne ade ekoye. You could see say this was a very 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 serious issue, of course. Ni nyina mu no eye timemufo ewo eye breku a sebe no omu kununom ene omo yere omo nuanom mema akọ eye poso a asemo yakoto omo no I'm sure a lot of us would want to know how the reaction was, saying na etiema omo, how were they able to stand this particular attacker about omo. So now to me say it wasn't easy for them. Abusia ye betwa video kakra about how things unfolded e wo breku community honom e de amamu ye ba ye beto aso. Timemufo a ewo ewutu breku emofra wo mo papa ekọ adwuma so asebe arehosema kwoto omo no a omo hu se the rescue mission no etimi aye positive ama wo mo awofo no yetimi age wo mo enkwa a yede wo mo eba back no. You could see how they were so happy. Said they no mo ani age ana wo mo ebo say just to receive their parents back home, because sebe de bia omo kra kwa adwuma bada ye ntisa sansem way. But for us to let's hear something like this, no, not just say Ghana, yeah, catch the one year maybe a home. Now let's take some comments from the comment section. I may say because the government taking action to prevent Nigerian criminals in the country, because most of these crimes are Nigerian criminals. International say I may chema and niema kosono dodo na to trust somebody ni pabon for some koso okrodem hanum say no Nigeria for and say. Now the same I may again says a Nigeria kidnapped a Ghanaian, put him in a room for 6 months and was tortured by a Nigerian foreigner. We are angry with the government for allowing Nigerians to harass Ghanaians in Ghana. Now you say harassment, you know, adults, and there are a lot of comments. Yebekai ede amamu. Now so Honorable Gisela Tete wasanso edin sembia betuja we share screens na so I will say we thank God for a safe rescue mission for 71 fishermen, 47 of them from Senya Breku. An armed robbery piracy attack on 6 canoes last night resulted in a tense situation for the whole Senya Breku community. International say wochema yenu mo call epono na wo mo ye eduoson bako 71 ena emu ye hwe canoes dodo a ebusuafo na ewo honom nso a na about 7 canoes. That's what has been projected, but I say 47 of them na say nipa nson eduoson bako no emu eduanaye nson na omu efi Breku krom ho. So majority of these fishermen were from the Breku community. Oshema say the attack was on 6 canoes. Intina canoes baku nsia ena womo etwehye womo so say 4 of them have docked in Senya Breku and 2 were escorted to Tema. Inti canoes 6 now womo tehye womo so no emu 9 there sabre omufi ye breku krom ho no mante hwa ena womo ewo ena mienu ne de emi se efritema inte se ya wo mo ekotema. Now say there were no hostages taken. They took their outboard motors, generators, and fuel. But thanks to technology, we could communicate with some of them whose phones were still on. Special thanks to the Office of the President, Ministry of Defense, National Security, Ghana Navy, Ghana Army, Ghana Police, Marine Police, NADMO, Central Regional Administration, Ewutu Senya District Assembly, Senya Canoe Owners Association, and well wishers. Truly grateful for this support, Mr. President John Dramani Mahama. Thank you for the call and concern. Everyone is fine now. Into any semwa ye mame ode abeto jochema say yanchi obi ensie, nobody was held hostage, and ocean so omo phones ni generators ni outboard motors na and omo gigi but then technology into mtimi frɛ ya omutimi bo aye ni ade nadmo aye ade Ghana Police aye ade Ghana Army aye ade National Security Ghana Navy President Mahama munyina ede omo agi mu bia sabre de our people have been rescued. Now yetwa aye comments I mean Big Mama says, why should we be reactive instead of proactive? The other day they attacked fishermen in Keta. International so asa attack no ebi akoso ewo Keta enche ye bia ene say ye hu bi ewo Senya Breku no. Hebi says, I told you don't give the Nigerians chance in Ghana. They will bring different types of crimes to Ghana, but you didn't listen. This is the first time Ghana fishermen have experienced this attack. Internet say Nigeria for ya and your boy say what? Just look at this. President Mahama allowed this close the borders, he refused. International to say way and semwa because lastly or say if Nigerians have helped their leaders to destroy their country with different types of crime, how could they come to Ghana and help Ghanaians to develop Ghana? Interna utimi say semno de aye very crucial our amanfo bebre call for president's immediate action on this issue. Ye be die chenia mamo eho update. Now still on issues that is happening in Ghana no another sebe menka say arrest akoso na ebusi arrest we akoso no, it is linked to a Nigerian again. Enti we make say nti Nigeria fo pa da benda enti on your screen no utimu say eye enro ni adeade na mami ejina mami a ogina hoyi 33-year-old woman na nidin ede Emanuela Bisi na yache no ewo paga border no eso obebusa say ede na oyeye. Now let's take you through it. Or say just in a 33-year-old woman Emanuela Ajin Bisi has been arrested at the Paga border in the Upper East region for allegedly possessing and selling fake and unwholesome drugs with her Nigerian husband. She is reported to have admitted selling unregistered aphrodisiac and waist pain remedies without approval from regulatory bodies. Investigations are ongoing. Entina ye chema ma me Manuela ni kunu Nigeria ni ena omu mienu aka omu ti abomu ena omu ankasa ayo eduro bi asabe eduro no Food and Drugs Board okra emfa omu nsem omu nhye say eduro no is good for human consumption. It meets the standards asabe nipa betimi a consume a cause any harm, because right now the kidney disease, the liver disease, any yare kitten cancer ni ade di nipa wo krodwem hanum say no dodrona the consumption of eniema ekoye nipadue mu. And you realize that some of these products no obehwemu no na ebusuan for FDA kuranim ho hwe. Regulatory authorities Ghana sebe they would cross check and mobile friend saying nhwehwemu afa endro ho no wo nyina no wo mo enim ho hwe. And as you can see, you know, they are I mean people are consuming it ena eko mu emu enti wo hwe mu amame Manuela we di 32 years echema di kunu eye Nigeria ni ena omo ya ne se omo ton aphrodisia ena aphrodisia ka aphrodisia eduro na be medro ena ofa we obetimi akobe 40 rounds we obetimi ebema osisi muden ebema odi agina so ena ye nsem bebre eno ena chese wo mo ahye wo mo wan corner ena wo mo ye ena wo mo ton e man krofo ena sa be de a police for ensa akoso wo mumu ewo paga border no so ewo the upper east region say no I don't know how the packaging even is packaging no crash say ade ehu nti no way mu omo ye no ma packaging ne kama na wo mo eton de man nkofo asabre de yache no na amanfo aso hopeful say we de se nikunu kra awoye Nigeria ni no na ahye ne kutupa ahye ne muden ama ne moral a wotimi de eton sa enoway Emma and Crawford ewo emonten eso. Now in view of drugs no and say we shemwa most of the reports are eba no drugs are amount for sebe wo mo de trade bi de tu kwan bi de twa kwan bi de kom miamia ne ade sa drugs issue no ase no so ginsempa wo kredwe mu hanom say yeyi ma me Emmanuel de efri ho am en crime pumpuni mantem ha Legon to be precise and also yache wo bisa ewo ne eche se otimu se drug house ankasa awo mo into the distribution of drugs into screens so say the Ghana Police Service with the assistance of civilians and trained security dogs has uncovered a drug distribution hub in New Legon. Abusia, is it not wonderful? The discovery followed a suspicious motorcyclist leaving the premises under questionable circumstances, prompting the police to search the building. During the search, 2 suspects were arrested and a variety of drugs, including suspected Indian hemp, codeine, and tramadol were found. International so much ma wo mu say motorcyclists be every edan bi mu pie na busia edan na no opie free mu no uncompleted na wo no nso a say yen tuma ninsi ene ade eno mu say motorcyclists ni apie na that time no na Ghana police for enso wo mo surveillance as wo ye patrol wo town ni mo kona omo di omo ni to for mo hwe say de abrante ni pie na ase there is something fishy somewhere enti wo mu di nintente de omo ni to from kopie mu na che say abusia drug house enye drug ketwa na chebe ya hyehye wo ho a when you do motor ni ba delivery in terms of motorcyclists no or koye delivery at the amount for now there's a video yen share Emra
Nine patrols are on duty around New Legon. Through our normal patrol stop and search, upon our own surveillance, we detected that there is a person who is living around this environs, who is doing this narcotics business. Upon proper surveillance, we detected this evidence, and you can see on the floor. And the person who owned it had been handcuffed and been transported to police headquarters for further investigation. Thank you very much.
So that is it. New Legon. Ebusia ushe video now share mami yo jina hweya. Sebe wana mabontin krani e kache o say she's into selling of drugs. Menya show krasa obejedi. And so usha na same time all the arrest of drugs akoko kosono. Na anu die tramadol ni ade ema 3 o say 4. The chinin ewo upper west in Suoba. You could realize that just the things that are happening and the drugs mostly are involving women. Yeah, there. Ebeba ukase truck drivers yeah. Wo more edit truck any there. Extra cannabis near there. You go obeshemu no. Ne ye ma na no yi kia road bus driver ya ye chini na ma na asoma na wode drugs ni den echo. So that should tell you say a lot is happening. People are doing a whole lot of things for money in this country. Ghana your friend is saying Ghana for bebre na say they are innocent of things like this ni chemu say and nobody no so say the youth in this country and the president and his team they need to act ASAP because broso say just say yentimi hu de yenye hu biem okrom ha. Every day is another story. Every day we are arresting a woman or a man with regards to drugs, and it's very sad. Say in some way kosom. In view of that, no opiemu ewo mokola say protest be akosom, and the protest has a correlation and also has a link with a Chinese invasion. I mean can say because the form demonstration no yebakoti omo nsem a omo kam, but all what they are saying is that omabre womatna say to ade so omo boka esan say there is a deliberate increase of rent prices. Say the bay omuntimi ntuane ebeje shops no ediama China for, and they are not giving in until they omates in mountain so omo aye demonstration. Now before that, we share screens so see traders at Mokola market number 2 have taken to the streets in protest and marched to the Jubilee House to appeal for support from the president. They are calling for assistance to address the soaring rent costs for their shops, which are severely impacting their businesses and driving up the prices of their goods. And then you okojom ni ekacha say ade ne boye say abeka say $30 so. And so adwadifo no so pese yete ase say stores na omoto ade wo mu no prices no etebe ekuomo enti omo so de ometimi aya and omo yen, but there is a reason behind the hiking of shop prices in Makola. Yenti omo emra.
Mame, musikashi. Yesikashi. I didn't see. Yesikashi. I said, I am born. I'm sorry, the Sato. Yesikashi. It's a new brother. Did you better my near? I'm number 2. What's the mean to stock? Yes, every month, every year, China for. I don't know your now your brother. I don't know Ghana for your brother. But yes, for America, somebody. Now you 2 billion. Are they? Yanis cannot see a government in the body of way. I'm not going for my colleague to association for. Yeah, my boy. I'm not boy about your funny. One more stores in my boy, and you're my boy. You didn't get us shit.
That is a year a dreadful Mokola number 2. There've been 20% increase in a year womo shop renter womo etuetua na so na chese omo akohwe kire hu say wo be so womo gire yes shops no edema China for enunti ene womo hyeda womo etoto rent prices ni emuesan say womo tutu musa no man 2 billion okovisa 2 billion we himfa it went me and you move, and once you move a Chinese will occupy your space na womo so ede operate womo business any ade okrodwe mu hanum say. So you could realize say no a whole lot is happening in Ghana. Now shema me first said o ma she o ko jan ye o mu DJ jawe dey na to me say eni bre a en soja, but sabre dey anyway dey abre amana soja gon because they can't deal with it anymore. Esan so a wo mo tutututu niema buo mu a ye beka say na niema ne boarding na dollar no aya stabilize dollar, but omo said there are lots of factors are contributed to the increment of prices. Enye dollar nkwa na ehwe ho editon ade omu chirema stores no so ebo no ekum wo mo. Enti President John Dramani Mahama was say wotimi emnimani ya no wode ne hujimu the appropriate organizations, the appropriate headquarters no wo mo en channel ade ne mfa omumu so that the needful will be done, because ese ensuo ta ponchenia ojewo yemfi nsem wei eso a abusia na ye kwakopie mu e wonsem foforo so dia at this point the president of our land President John Dramani Mahama amanfo bebre friend no into a matter that is ongoing asem way ya twe ne sani abasa wo Ghana hanom saa eno ada de si ye ne na amanfo se ade no I choke baby adro no apem mo abre ede na ekoso wo mu chema the family of high life musician Daddy Lumba Charles Fosu say ni manimi ya na abusuafo no President John Dramani Mahama etimi etonsa edefra omo because niema omo no ya abro adwen ne ntiase so it is too much say o mama Ghana ye kra yeti ya apaye enada ebusuafo a womo ewo Daddy omo ye Daddy Lumba ebusuafo tirema womo epese womo tu ebusuapani to park ade so na womo ko hiemu ne hiemu no ene womo chem say Daddy Lumba bekasa akire mu baabi a yesie no ene ade nyina ene ko social media ne so it is all over the media and in some way Mahama must step in because enough is enough. Now yenko tie maame a wose Lumba efa animu ema no ekasa ye kire baby a yesie ne ni ade nyina no ye ba enkomo no ewo ho a ye beto aso de amam
yesie ye wo fa Lumba
baby a ye de metu ye no aya mi fie ho efie a mitimu wo ntona no e ho no osi a mi a Lumba na mi kasai Onyankopon agya no oboso ni asase no maami a wate wona eba no maami ni hu ohun papa se hu ya hu se de maami die Onyankopon oboso ni asase ni wasoma maami se onfa me mbrafu ani ti dia maami ni kan nyina no eya no kura se ogya me no maami ko asie ye bia ye besie me mu bia no Onyankopon abofo beba be fami afi ho de me abafie na se wa fama amade a wa mama makabatem ya odman ko Onyankopon ja se afami nyina be yakwa awie ya no ni ba bia mefa enti misra monhya no na won fami brefi won fami mafie kura mo hwe ba bia maami tie na maami na wo kasa no wono na be ma abofo Nyankopon oboso ni asase na abofo ebe ba be fa ne di abefie na be ka busia ho ama abribia metimi akọ ebiasi fufuro bie mu no mako ntisa de menam no ye medie minya nsuo ko minya bi no eso wode me ba fie dia ye be bia menya bibia di nya nsuo so anu enti dia wo ho no samu ne kan na nya ya mu ya ba bia maami tie na mu fa ne nko mu kan tira maami no no ahwehwe na no kan kure wo mu fa tira no yeso kan kure ni wie na wa anya ye be sie die e wa chire ni die ane die nya ha na me kan ya samu a wo ho
ne sai busa ubi o Lumba yade na de ne kwa asama do anasa de because afewe aso e kwan ben wo fa aso me wo fa aso a wo kwa asama
ewo mu asam de ye makwan e ma asama do asam ye ne asase so eni e ba ne saa yo ya ye no e pre bi bedra mu bebi se ye mia min krabia e be ye di se nya min krabia obia wo mu a minya ne bi na so obe wo matiko akosie asama do ma fra no mpanyimfo anim wa beyina ya wo ho no obi mu kwasia ko asama do a wo kwan se wo sama no wo mpanyimfo mu asama do wo sama no a ye be ba be fa no wa ha e de na kwa asama do amena ko yina enti se obi ne kum mi o se mi amin krabio e kwan bia so no e be dedi ama mu amu asase so no mo hu ebibie mo kama komanto ye na Onyankopon ma wo kwan ma wo bia wo ne na ba asase so no aba ne dia wo so aba wo de adenti na wo se ndi wula okuso ani dia ye ma kwan sa ti asama do de
ɛhɔ deɛ yɛka asɛmpa yɛka nokorɛ yɛntwa nkontompo firi sɛ wɔn ɔdoma nkoma nyankopɔn a wɔbɔɔ ɔsoro ne asase no wɔ ɛno nti biribiaa ɛwɔ hɔ biaa no ɛbɛda adi ama mo so mohu na sɛ wobɛdi m'akyi atwe ho ma nso deɛ nyankopɔn agya no wɔ ma kwan saa.
Minim Simon so Mubabu Sabia.
Mpanyinfoɔ a bɛto wɔn a wɔde ama ne agya wɔn ɔmo nso bɛpɛ sɛ ɔmo bɛkɔ abusua nkaeɛ a ɛwɔ ɛyɛ ɔdefo so a ɔbɔfoɔ so a ɔsɛ bɛka biribi fa na ɔmo kyerɛ abusua no amadeɛ na amadeɛ a anaasɛ anamo a ɛsɛ fata bi a ɛsɛ sɛ abusua no bɛtu sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a sɛdeɛ waka sɛ ne ho ɛntɔ no no ho bɛtɔrɔ no abusua no nso bɛyɛ sɛ nti edi kan na ɛbɛgyina kɔ no abusua na yɛada wase bebree.
Acho adeɛ baako a menhyɛ no kyerɛ sɛ ne nyina n'akyi antwe manso wo a wobɛdi anim atwe manso yɛbɛfrɛ wo ama wo so akɔdi ma atema nti mu deɛ mu bisa no na wɔse onim baabi a monka nkyerɛ ne sɛ ɔdoma nkɔ nyankopɔn agya asoma no bia me abɛbisa wo nti mo pa mo frɛ me a me ne bɛtena so na awurade mo abɛkyerɛ bi ɔne ne kasa ni a ne ama ne bia mo ne pressure nti saa wokɔ asam ado a nti mo bia mo te deɛ meka na sɛ mo se mo bɛtwe a mo bɛgyina hɔ atwe manso yɛbɛfrɛ no ama no akɔ na wakɔ yi a no deɛ wɔnim fa asɛm na hɔ nso wokɔ a woma anaa wobɛba koraa woma ne sɛ deɛ ɛhu nti hɔ deɛ obi bi ngu a wonim sɛ nnipa no agu a wodeɛ fa ne gya deɛ ɛbɛyɛ biaa wodeɛ ne wopa a ɔda hɔ no koraa kasa kyerɛ no wɔgu a ne honam na wosu biaa ne hɔ a wobɛka kyerɛ no ɛmpa no so a wɔnte.
The family of Charles Kwejo Fosu, Daddy Lumba, popularly known as DL, and I go say Umukoshi mu Pakoso, I will much say Womoshi Busia penny to pack. And was so Timmy Betcher baby, I would do a modest share a yet Daddy Lumba, Ekoto ye. Now, no, and I just say Shemune question almost say Daddy Lumba, some mine in home, as Sania Wakasa, which I'm so Makako Sieno, Ewo Nifia, what and crying. It was almost under the because we ain't seeing with ye and if ye pie like the bush and fear nintino. Ama baby, I will one num and a man for say, wash. Can you imagine what kind of story is this? Ada mo tete that the Lumba much papa is any abasa ever since he died. Ebusia be a lot of people have shown disappointment. The reaction on social media is very serious. We just say it is enough. Why you be a why you be a munya nipa ni esie from Papa She having a 3 days revival to Ebusia for one it just and some no there it never ceased to happen. Ebusia utimu say a lot of people are getting fed up about this Lumba family. Ebi just Sebeya, the president, and answer Sebe Otumfo, woman from Hunjimubi, na asem no, womu entimi enclose asem. Let's run it up because Eneluma say, ya anko kota, ye beye revival, ya nye revival, ye beye crusade, ya nye crusader, ye beye nsembebre, and it is we are getting tired of it. And as it stands now, people have even started mimicking, the audio of Ensemwa, na mamene can say a Lumba, and a ekasa ede afanimu. So at this point in Abusia, if President John Dramani Mahama will heed to the call from some section of Ghanaians, say he has to step in because Lumba was a national asset. And Sebe Ghana for including President Mahama Kasa and Nebusian for they used to love Lumba's music. But the way Lumba ewuye as he's the only rich man and as sebe nipa ba akopa wadi ye wo krom ha waji din asebe wawu a na busuafo enne sei echina sei any ade is becoming too much, and the earlier this issue was sorted no the better, because already in the year to crano ade Lumba na ofa se ba akonso awu a wo hye fridge mo nua fosti eba bema. So you could see that a lot is happening because of the death of that Lumba. Ebiche say President John Dramani Mahama should step in and do something about this particular issue. And say the president would try and then be inside and I said try and then solve the pending issue, because someone will say after this meeting no ebusia penny to park didn't show up at the meeting. Now one show up no so no amount for bebre and I say why ya dear pass one ma, because in someone ebusia for we mu edi no some are even asking questions that so all these family members were there and na mami akosia say wa anything legal wife drag ebusia penny and I say ebusia for about the Lumba's body no nyina ja asem ne de bo ebusia penny to park so money ye no ye na ria afei na mo san beka a different story de achena na ye gitumu a enye ye, and so some are still supporting ebusia penny to park, some are also saying say ebusia for no match in kadada kra and was enka wo mo take action on to park, but then calls for president to act in no ye share if President Mahama will heed to the call. Now yen free a year in some way so sabre de yen nyina yenim say there is one war bia sebe enya so Ghana so some way somehow allegedly that's what we were made to believe, and when the Russia Ukraine war no now Russia Ukraine war you call so you say entokwa na busia na enye ntokwa ketwa, it was a massive one to the extent say Ghana ye ho kire ya edru baby no mo say Russia Ukraine war no ena ama yabre ena me ne wo ka say on your screens you would see Yera Samuel Okujeto a black choir with some other people womo ete a room. Now if you want to know what is happening right now, they want to say the foreign affairs minister wakwako piemu ewo Ukraine. Yes, now Ukraine no copy no, it was for a reason and it was for a purpose. Now on your screens it says Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa has visited two Ghanaian nationals captured as prisoners of war in Ukraine at a highly fortified security camp. Now you cap prisoners of war, we are referring to Nkofo Asebe womo ekwa akwa the enemy, and I say so let's say this two Nkofo ya yeche some prisoners of war more Ukraine. They were fighting the war on behalf of Russia. And tokwani muno Ukraine for and apparently they happen to be Ghanaian. So usually say as a prisoner of war, you can be there, you can't be tortured according to the international rule. No, you can't be tortured. And I said but then you can be used for intelligence led informations in tebia enemy na wache no obetimi atoto wa no enyinya informations bi ni ade free ho. Two, they can use you to work ebetimi de wakoye nyuma bi ni ade ewo mo ekro so any ade. So these are the prisoners of war wo mo ya Ghana for wo makopie mu ewo Ukraine na enumu no na Ukraine president Volodymyr Zelensky waba abekasa nensema wo kan say I met with Ghana's foreign affairs minister Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa and thanked him for his visit, the first in our country's history. International say wo omo abakwase mu no ensi dapo say Ghana foreign affairs minister bibe kokosra omo o say we discussed specific areas where we can advance our partnership, agriculture, defense cooperations, and expanding programs for Ghanaian students to study at Ukrainian universities. Into chema inshemo mshiemu no omo bonkomo efa niema bebre ho efa ko metimi aka omontuma bomo ahwe eniema efa ekuayo ho ahobambo ho nsem adesua ho nsem anse be Ghana adesua fo betimi anya akwanya no akọ Ukraine akọ akosua ade na o se Ghana wo che the African Union next year, and it is important that we make the most of this period to strengthen ties between Ukraine and Africa. And to say the enimuno, afia yebewura mu no, yankasa mampani, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and ekwa mu say African Union friend is saying chair. Now, and Wochem said, Sa akwenya naba no, was say Ghana, sebe Africa, any Ukraine, yetimi ye now for funny mu kena, said ebeboa. Also, we also held detailed discussions on how Russia recruits citizens of Ghana and other countries in Africa to participate in the war against Ukraine. And to Muchema, Wamasha hunu say Russia mino etai high Ghana, a mebunu ene, a mebunu ne mranti ene ma umufi ebibimai mu, Emma Wumuko jina ako ano, etia wamu Ukraine for no say and how we can counter it. Come before so I said umbesi ano kwine. Our teams will remain in contact on this issue. I am grateful to Ghana for its clear support of Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty, as well as for backing our positions in UN General Assembly resolutions. International Brady Ghana ni Ukraine. Womo beka womuntima abumu aye niema bebre beboa. Na to end to say yehwemu kra na wochemu say womo hu say Russia for ni yusu Ghana for ne pa ni Africans no de ko womo war na womo no. So they are trying to do something na womo ebetimi edi esi anokwan. Now yenko na yenko hwe video we bye beto aso.
Thank you for coming. You're very welcome. And I had dialogue not once with your president. Best regards to him and from my team. You're very welcome. Thanks for yesterday's support and happy to see you.
Thank you very much for hosting us today. You have been very gracious since we arrived here in the beautiful city of Kiev.
So that is Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa and Ukraine president womo ekoshia ye no said the name siko ye womo nkomo twetwe ni ade a ekoso no na ye ko ekohwe na chese utimi hu say it's a whole lot. Now ni nyina mu no said the yama yenya ntiase no Ghana and Ukraine sebe womo ahye womo ho bo se womo ebe ma omanyonkofa ni mu ayedene na said the aya na Russia for no use Ghana for no war as abe yachi emumienu kra omabeda ni prisoners of war Ukraine no sa niema ni nyina eto ebetwa. The Foreign Affairs Minister Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa wato ne numutu akasa de afa Ghana and Ukraine pa yabo yepese yedi hujuma na eboa woman mienu ni nyina ansa na ebekọ akotie no show on the screen. So say following the killing of 8 Ghanaian nationals in a terror attack in Burkina Faso, Ghana is seeking to bolster its security by signing a defense cooperation agreement with Ukraine. Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa discussed the partnership, which aims to build the capacity of Ghana's security and intelligence agencies during a working visit to Kiev. Enti na chese nsem ewo ho se Ghana and Ukraine ye ka yentem abomum na yape ahobambo ho nsem emu tight emu den de ama Ghana. Now enchemu bebre ewo sansem we emu mechemu de ama wo ye hwe video we emra na yento aso.
I want to also confirm that we have just concluded very fruitful bilateral discussions. Our discussions have been broad and varying. We have discussed the need to have an agricultural cooperation. Ghana is positioning itself to be an agrarian hub, and we want to be the food basket of our region. And we have discussed the potential in having full cooperation with Ukraine in that regard. We have also discussed matters on education. Before the invasion, we had a lot of Ghanaian students here, excess of 200, who were particularly studying in the field of medical science and engineering. Because of the invasion, a lot of them returned home and had to be reintegrated. We want to revive that educational cooperation so that we can continue to have more of our medical doctors and engineers trained here. And then we can also receive a lot of Ukrainians who want to have a different exposure, different environment. We have also strong universities, some of the best in Africa, like the University of Ghana, which was established in 1948. So we have discussed the need to revive our educational cooperation. We have also looked at the potential of having a defense cooperation agreement. As two countries, we have very strong armed forces. As you do know, Ghana's celebrated armed forces is one of the UN top troop contributing nations. They have tremendous experience in maintaining peace, maintaining law and order, and carrying out peacekeeping operations across the world. And we believe that we can cooperate in that area. We are also looking at establishing an electronic warfare center so that we can deal with the threat of terrorism that we face in our region, which is now the epicenter for global terror. So we are looking for international partners to build our capacity and our ability to neutralize these terrorists. And we see in Ukraine a worthy partner. And so we have discussed that.
So that was the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, and Ebusia Yekuti Ninsema, where they etuja na chese ochema. Na anu ya ne eti arehosemwa esiye eto Ghana fo binumo ewo eye Burkina northern part of Burkina Faso enam Somalia nuanum binumo ahwe wo nkwa. And we know that the Sahel states are being backed by the Russian country, Russia, for Putin wodi enimu dendendia sebe ebikwa chema wo supply o mo with ammunitions ni ade wo mo de bo mo ho ban na se wo mato ahye so de a na chese counter attack yenso ye beko Ukraine for eho. That is what some people are saying. Now we share comment section ni mukra obi say Ghana stop being betrayal. Not just say Ghana to say ye ebibi man ama I mean Burkina Faso, Benin, the other countries are forming the Sahel states, the states, you know, people that are being attacked by Ukraine for. We shall see the same Ukrainian supporting terrorist group to fight Sahel nations. And allies, not just say Ghana, we are selling out on the neighboring countries are forming the Sahel states now. Or more na ebi said this is not good. I didn't see Enasebe. Esana say snitching near there. That is what people are saying. I don't know, but you can put your comment in the comment section. But at this point, you know, Burkina for befa Russia, na Ghana for afa Ukraine. You can imagine how things are going to be like. Said the name any ebesify because Ukraine versus Russia, all parading themselves in a certain, your friend is saying, jurisdiction. We share the geographical space now. Ghana and Burkina sharing a border. Ghana, just say when you try and they have a different people they are partnering or they are aligning with, and I answer you different there. Now, just say Niema Bebre, Koswa. We need to set up and then put things in place. Away and in Sambia Ghana for a day. Now, yeah, the way sorry, so that's from the same Ministry of Foreign Affairs. No. And I better say Ministry of Foreign Affairs for granted a DVLA for the opportunity say umuntu kwa US, Germany, Canada near there now or more renewal of license na munye license in Ghana for and same way the CEO of DVLA and the break his information no the ebetuja into which I'll say Foreign Affairs Minister has granted approval for some DVLA staff to travel to USA, Canada, UK, Netherlands and Germany to register and renew license of Ghanaian drivers in diaspora, DVLA boss. And I say so this are in some way but then there have been a whole lot of issues surrounding it. I cough and send be aba na ocean somewhere ebusia edi aba na eni susun if you say me no ka say DVLA for yet it is one be issue disclaimer so man ka hwe ni ade and they are saying that they never said that it as a media outlet for no and omo try say we be twantro ato DVLA boss no so na say bibi but there is a video Manasseh Azuri the 4th estate wa better age a wochem say what the media outlets are selling out is equally the same thing as what the DVLA boss said. it is a Muslim ye boadia any kakum ye jin kwakwanum yenkotie emfri ono ankasa eho tie video we name.
Some of you DVLA staff, you are traveling overseas to go and provide services in 5 countries outside the US, Canada, Netherlands, UK, and Germany. I can see you are smiling. I will add you, don't worry. So that is the service we are going to provide. We've gotten approval by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and this is what we are going to do for our Ghanaians staying abroad. They don't need to come down to come and renew their 1-year license which has expired. We'll be there and we'll be doing it for them. We'll provide all licensing issues over there for them without vehicle registration.
So this is a video of when the DVLA boss ede to just say ye be too kwan ye call 5 countries na akoye renewal and issuance of a year driver's license otimika kache obi so obi sre odi nipa ne beka ho ne ade afa be wan say wo mo di release aba a wo mo so wo mo clarify say wo mo anka ne sa na de wo mo kan ye ne say wo mo partner with the embassies in the various countries any ade and so ade video here say asem no waka. So what are you trying to say? So this is a year the release a free the DVLA Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority or say DVLA clarifies the misleading media headline on its intention to provide driver licensing services in selected countries. It's not just a DVLA for so there is a video where the boss was talking. Now let's dive into and say Mahama Depl0ys say has come to the attention of management of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority misleading news headline over the extended service of DVLA to selected foreign countries. Almost so there is a video. For clarity, the DVLA, through an arrangement with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, has agreed to collaborate with Ghanaians embassies across the globe to provide selected services, including international driver's permit and driver's license renewal to qualified Ghanaian citizens domiciled in other countries. And to almost say omni embassies for any mom and I collabo and yes and near my name I said the pilot phase will be undertaken in the United States of America, Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, and the High Commission of the United Kingdom. As part of the implementation plan, the DVLA will provide training to embassy staff to do verification of documents and forward same to DVLA for processing. Once the processing is done, the authority will then return the processed document to the various embassies for pickup by the applicants. This operation does not in any way mean that DVLA will post its domestic staff to work at the embassies in the aforementioned countries as the news headlines sought to portray. We wish to indicate that the management of DVLA are committed to serving the interest of Ghanaians and has consistently pursued an agenda to place the services of the authority closer to the people to minimize default as well as promote compliance. We want to reiterate that the authority practices an open door policy and encourage the media and individuals who require clarity on information on the operations of the DVLA to approach the Corporate Affairs Department for such details to avoid such misleading reportage. International one person much sense someone who say there was a EB two screen so was coming from Joy News and yakas was so den kofo to kwan enye no kre enti nko so mu kwaji mu nchire mu clarification no mu asem no ye no kre ansana wo mo edi abeto mountain. So but we heard it clearly from the video. But then one person who has reacted to it Osajefo Oliver Baka Vomowo was say, I have seen the DVLA statement and the clarification to the earlier news headlines about their foreign license renewal program. The statement says that they want embassies to handle driver's license renewal and issuance of international driver's license. I would say it's I'll say it's a laudable idea. Good also on issuing the early statement to clarify. However, if I could make a good faith suggestion, my opinion may be rubbish, but hear me out. I think DVLA should first coordinate with the Foreign Ministry to run phased training for ministry and research department staff based in Ghana. Since these officers provide institutional continuity while foreign mission staff rotate frequently and many of them pass through Accra at different points in their postings, also know that 90% of consular works is handled by the research department, which is under national security, not foreign affairs per se. So loop them in. Secondly, if you want a structured and sustainable system, the next step should make Ghana the permanent training hub for all incoming mission staff, so that officers receive the certification before departure or while on home assignment, supported by standardized manuals, digital learning modules, and a remote help desk. This avoids the cost and disruption of repeatedly sending DVLA teams to mission abroad, and ensures consistent operational standards across all locations. Also, if all that they had already been set up, it is even more cost effective to have select embassy staff come down to Accra for training rather than send DVLA staff to all 55 diplomatic outposts. Finally, all of this cost build-up can be completely fixed with an online system. I have a US New York driver's license. I haven't been to the US since 2021. I have renewed my license while in Ghana and replaced a missing one, all through the online system. My 2 cents, this would have been the policy proposal we would have made if Metin Everett have been brought to the consult on this. I give them for free. Into a chairman, at some point, DVLA has to re-strategize their way of doing things. Na emma umuntiminya renewal no, even to those in the diaspora, without necessarily spending money to send staff and all that. So this is what Oliver Baka Vomowo ode ebetu dwana chese say no yehu say news outlets for ni twantro say why na anchor asem ni ye. That is what we are gathering. But ni nemu no, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wo mo ababonten enso abekasa, and from the release a free omo bana I say ebia dada, but then ye nyina ye nhwem. So this is from the Ministry of Affairs, or say Ministry of Foreign Affairs, sorry, or say purported extension of DVLA services abroad. Accra said February 2026, the attention of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been drawn to a viral news headline claiming that the ministry has granted approval for staff of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority to travel to countries including United States of America, Canada, United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Germany to register and renew driving licenses of Ghanaians drivers in the diaspora. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs wishes to state categorically that it has neither issued a directive to our diplomatic missions abroad nor granted approval to any entity for such an arrangement. The ministry is not aware of any new government policies to that effect. In addition, there is no record available at the ministry pointing to this purported new policy direction. For the avoidance of doubt, there has been no formal engagement, no new policy brought to our attention, and no financial commitment is irrefutable evidence at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs establishes. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs wishes to assure the general public of its commitment to transparency and financial prudence in public service delivery. International say aban kole ni hwohwe see ekoye training e de amobi anase de obi e call the United States. So as it stands now, it's quite a whole lot right now. We don't know. Sebia DVLA boss, no, he was trying to sweet tongue us, and I say, na oka na wakwa afe na okwa kotu ho anamo or what. It has been a whole lot of issues. But then, as an ayebe kono, and send me a air back concerning this in Sema Yakika Hono from the comment section, Emmanuel Frimpong says, I do not see anything wrong with cooperation with Ukraine to bolster our security, but I also think dialogue can go on in wait of the war with Russia to come to peaceful end. This is nonsense, and they should try as much as possible to quench the situation. So yenda will be ase ebusian for listening and watching yen famu insiha aha Pinaxtv.